So I wasn't sure whether to have the hook of this video be either A, I think I'm a crazy person, or B, I got chastised for 3 hours straight. So I think I'm deciding to go with both. Now here is the reason I thought I was crazy. I was crazy because I could not get my mind to slow down. It was going. And even when I was working, I used to bring my computer here to the library and just try and pound stuff out. Like I still could not stay present. Like when I was working, I was thinking about things outside of work. When I was not working, I was thinking things about work. Like I could just not be present. Like one time I was here playing Ultimate Frisbee with a bunch of friends, and I was so preoccupied with all the stuff that I had to do that I just wasn't really paying attention. Threw the Frisbee, boom, side of the head. Not only did I drop the pass, got hit in the side of the head. It's not a good situation. Then there was another time when I was actually dating a boy who was in bowling league, and I should have been present there in the championship, and I just could not be present. I just had so many ideas going through my head, so many things, I just could not be present. Anyway, this whole thing kind of came to a head when I just had so much going on. There were like all these different contributing factors, and I just could not deal. So I ended up in the emergency room with an ulcer because I was so stressed. So I was finding myself in all these different places, just feeling like in my mind all the time. And I, again, not consciously started to feel my soul just like gravitating towards certain places where I could just breathe. This is on my college's campus, and I used to have classes in that building across. So I used to have to pass through this building, and this like rainbow display, I don't know, I would walk in here and it was just like one of the places where I could breathe. And I started to feel myself just like aching to be in places like this. So this is another place that I just found refuge. I was doing the internet and realizing that school was not where I wanted to be. So the school library just gave me anxiety, and my house was like way too much fun. So I needed a place that I could just breathe. And I don't know, I found a lot of refuge here. Another thing is I just craved reading. Like I just found these moments where I could breathe when I read. So after the whole ulcer incident, I realized I had a problem. And these like brief moments of like breathing and finding peace, like at the tree or reading or at the museum, like those just weren't cutting it. Like they were just too inconsistent. So I decided to get really serious about getting control of like my mind. And so I hired a coach and I started meditating, and I got really serious about every single day, like studying my scriptures and like getting into good books and good material. So one day when I was doing my studies, I read this story in the scriptures, and it was about this prophet, and honestly, he was just kind of living his life. And I don't think he was being like inherently bad. I think he just got distracted. And so it was like 4 years of this distraction, and then ultimately what happened is, in this story, like God comes down and chastises him. That's the word it uses. Chastises him for 3 hours. And it's basically like, dude, like, where you been at? Like, what's your deal? And what was so fascinating is at the end of that story, like after that like 3-hour chastisement, like all of a sudden this prophet was aligned and he had clarity on how to move forward, and these distractions that had just prohibited him from taking action before, like they just got resolved. And so I remember reading that story and being like, oh my gosh, like I am like desperate for that result that man got. Like I want that clarity. I want that level of alignment in myself. And so I was like, cool. Well, like if he got it by just like getting chastised for 3 hours, then like I'm gonna go do that. And so I literally was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go cut out 3 hours of time to just be still, like to just sit and to pay attention to the things that came to my mind. And I purposefully like just shut out all the things that were like to-do lists. Like I didn't even write those down. It was just things that came to my mind that I felt like was instruction or insight into how to align myself with the truest version of myself. So I came to this place, like I drove my car up here. I actually sat on this rock right here and I put my AirPods in, and I didn't play any music. I just like, if other people came up, I just wanted to be like, I'm busy, you know, listening. And I just sat here on this rock with my notepad, and I just sat for 3 hours. I put a timer on my phone. I was just like, I'm just gonna sit. And all I wanna do is just understand how I can be in alignment and how I can act in alignment with this truest version of myself. And it was amazing. Like, it was hard to sit still. Have you guys ever done that? Like, sitting still for 3 hours. Like, I didn't check my phone. Like, I tried to keep my mind clear. But it was amazing. Like, I sat on this rock for 3 hours, tried to connect with a higher power. And at the end of those 3 hours, what happened is I had tremendous clarity in regards to what needed to enter my life for me to have alignment in acting with who I am, and what needed to leave my life in order for me to act in alignment. And that trickled down to what needed to come into my business and what needed to leave my business. And this experience of like intentionally sitting down to be still has been one of the greatest catalysts for success in my business. In fact, like, I literally schedule an hour every Sunday to just be still, to learn how I can be in the greatest alignment with myself. Anyway, I think this whole journey of like trying to get control of this little crazy thing inside of here has the awareness of it. It's actually crazy how many people have come to me with the same things. I think it's pretty common in entrepreneurs. Like, we just have so many ideas. And a lot of times the craziness inside of here, it isn't just stress. It's also ideas and things that you want to do. And, oh my gosh, I should connect with this person. I should do this and blah, 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 blah. But again, like, the people that are able to win the game are those that are aligned. And so that is why I'm like losing my mind excited about Design Hacking Live, because what's going to happen at Design Hacking Live is not only are we going to have a moment of stillness where we can get clarity in regards to what needs to leave our business and what needs to come in so that we can actually get the results that we want. Like, that is going to be the genius of day number one, is going deep into design hacking and understanding again what comes in and what leaves. And then day two is all about implementation. Like, I think that was one of the scariest things about coming up here and like sitting here for 3 hours was I left this mountain and I was like, oh shoot, now I gotta go do that stuff. It's like a little bit scary. And at Design Hacking Live, it's like day one we get clarity, day two we implement. So again, like, you are going home with a brand new system that actually serves you. And like I'm just so passionate about this because I have experienced the angst and the anguish and just the absolute frustration of not being able to be clear for so long. To have found a solution in that, I just feel so passionate about getting this to the world. So if you are somebody that is just like a million miles an hour, you feel like you've capped out what you've earned, you feel like you've run out of time, like, I am telling you, the answers are at Design Hacking Live. And I would love to see you there.